for Rick's today and mine in 2 weeks' time. So we got to support it, and we all pull together at a meeting like this.
Getting to that final means a lot today, about £3,000 riding on that.
Well, yeah, there's prize money in the final as well, but the most important thing is for Rick himself to have a good meeting here. That's the important thing. The other for us is a good meeting for us, but it's Rick that's important today.
Rick, moment of truth time, it's here. How do you feel?
Oh, nervous, very nervous about everything, but I couldn't hope for more. This is a dream race with a fantastic crowd, and the weather's come good, so we're in for a great day, and I'm really excited about it.
Everybody's excited about the meeting. The racing's going to be for real. What a top prize today.
Yeah, we got some big money up, so guaranteed to see good racing. I'm trying to make the final myself because there's £3,000 from the last race alone, so very excited. I'm very honored that Bruce Penhall and Bobby Schwartz could come and show up for me on this special day, and also the great lineup of guys I got here. I'm very proud that they've all agreed, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just, it's like a dream come true, and I always thought a world final, I couldn't get any more nervous than that, but this has done it.
And with the riders now preparing for Heat 1, let's have a quick word on the meeting format. The 16 riders have 4 races apiece, after which the top 8 qualify for the 2 semi-finals. The first and second home then go through to the final itself. Meanwhile, the third and fourth place riders in the semis get a second chance. There's a consolation race for them, with just the winner going through to make it a 5-rider final. Here's the lineup then for Heat 1. Jano Pedersen, Bobby Schwartz, Jimmy Nilsson and Joe Screen. Riders facing the tapes for the first time here at Coventry this afternoon. Away they go swiftly, and a good start from Bobby Schwartz, the rider in blue. Well, Bobby from the USA making a one-stop return to the British scene this afternoon and surprising a few people here in the opening stages of race 1. But just watch the rider in white around the outside. It's Jimmy Nilsson making his bid. Schwartz on the inside, Jimmy Nilsson on the outside line. And the Swede with enough power to take him through there on that outside line. He takes pole position. Nilsson then in first place now. Bobby Schwartz, the early pace setter, a bit of a shock merchant in this opening race as well. Picked back to second position, and in third spot there, Jan O. Pedersen from Cradley Heath in Denmark, the reigning world champion. It's Bobby Schwartz back in his second position up front. There's a glimpse of the leader just going through to take the yellow flag. 1 lap remaining for Jimmy Nilsson, the popular Swede, back in the colours of Swindon this year, following last season's successful lone spell at Berwick. Jimmy Nilsson leading it. Bobby Schwartz has lost his second place as well as Joe Screen has come roaring through. So there's the checkered flag, the end of race 1, and Jimmy Nilsson has the honour of being today's first race winner. The spectacular Swede, now in his 8th season of speedway racing, set a great record in World Championship events as well. 4 World Finals, never out of the top 5. Nilsson off the mark here with 3 points. So moving on to race number 2, Rick Miller in the red helmet colour. This is Ronnie Corey, who's appearing here in blue from the USA, nicknamed the Rocket because of his fast gating skills. He's now in his 6th season with Wolverhampton. The rest of the lineup, Hans Nielsen white, Tommy Knudsen in yellow. Heat number 2, away we go, and what a good start from the inside by Rick Miller. Tommy Knudsen getting away pretty swiftly as well from the outside berth, but it's Miller who leads them. Miller on his big day, leading the pack in heat number 2. So the man of the moment, celebrating 10 years with the Coventry Bees. His best season league-wise was 5 years ago when his 8-point average helped the Brandon side to the British League title. Miller leads it. Back in second place. Going into camera there, Tommy Knudsen. Third place at the moment, Hans Nielsen. It's the gap between second and third. But this is the leader, Rick Miller. Just 1 lap remaining of this Brandon circuit. So Miller in first place as the checkered flag is raised for him. Second place there in yellow, Tommy Knudsen, and back in third position, Hans Nielsen. That's the results of heat number 2. So, appropriately enough, Rick Miller wins his first outing on this, his own very special day. And that's a victory that's got this large crowd applauding all the way around the Brandon Stadium. So into heat number 3 we go with Gary Havelock in the red. In blue, Tony Ricardson. Billy Hamill is in white, and in yellow and black it's Martin Dugard. Martin Dugard there on the outside berth, gate 4, joined Oxford 4 years ago after graduating from Eastbourne in the old National League, former British junior champion. So let's see what sort of start Martin makes to heat 3. Watch out for the fast-trapping Billy Hamill as well, he's in white. Up go the takes on the third race. And Hamill starting off in second place, but making an early bid for the lead. It's Havelock who's just holding pole position, but he's lost it now. Billy Hamill with a good surge around the outside line. Hamill from the USA leads it. Second at Gary Havelock, and back in third Martin Dugard. So Hamill ahead then of Gary Havelock. And Billy Hamill, a professional speedway rider, in fact, since the age of 16. Now in his third season with Cradley. Hamill leads it from Gary Havelock there with number 10 on his back in the red helmet colour. One of England's main hopes for the future, for World Championship success. Won the British final here at Brandon with a faultless 15-point maximum last summer. A couple of lengths the gap then between first and second. Hamill from Gary Havelock with Martin Dugard back in third position. So it is the riders negotiating the final turns for the last time. They take the checkered flag, little wheelie for Billy Hamill, celebrating his victory in heat number 3. Second there, Gary Havelock, and third, Martin Dugard. So Billy Hamill, one of America's latest string of success stories, made his World Final debut last year, and he's likely to make many more appearances in the sport's top event. 3 points for Billy Hamill, his first ride. On to heat number 4, Sam Ermolenko in the red helmet colour. In blue, it's Tatum, white, Per Jonsson, Greg Hancock in yellow-black. Heat number 4, and away they go. And a good start from the rider in blue, Kelvin Tatum. England's number 1, away swiftly, but just look at Per Jonsson with a great burst around the outside. The world champion of a couple of seasons ago hits the front. Per Jonsson leads it. Tatum relegated now to second place, and up in third is Sam Ermolenko. Quite a gap between second and third. Jonsson stretching out quite a comfortable lead for himself as well. Jonsson in pole position, number 16 on his back. The 1990 world champion missed out on the British action last year, but he's back this season with Reading, the club with whom he made his English debut 8 seasons ago. So Jonsson, the leader then from Sam Ermolenko, up now to second position, and back in third place. The only pace setter, in fact, in this race. Made a good start, Kelvin Tatum. There's the checkered flag then for the winner, Per Jonsson, the fourth Swede to win the world title. In fact, his crowning moment came at Bradford a couple of years ago. Collects 3 points there from heat number 4. A true international racer, like many of today's top stars. He also competes in Sweden and Poland. More action coming here from here at Brandon, straight after the break. Is about to resume with race 1 of what is called the final showdown. A race here between 2 riders who graced the international speedway scene for many years and who claimed 5 world individual titles between them. Here they are, Bruce Penhall in the white helmet colour, opposed by Ole Olsen, champion on 3 occasions. Bruce Penhall versus Ole Olsen, a real touch of nostalgia for this large crowd here today. And the early leader, the rider in white, Bruce Penhall. Twice winner of the Sports Stock Prize back in 1981 and 82. Showing that he's lost none of his track craft, although Ole Olsen, equally looking sharp, hasn't really ridden in a competitive meeting for something like 10 years. Olsen quickly through to take up pole position now ahead of Penhall. Olsen won his 3 titles back in the 70s, firstly in Sweden and then twice at Wembley. Retired from the sport, in fact, 1 year after Penhall. That was in 1983. Not a lot between the pair of them. Olsen just glancing back, and Penhall too far away as they take the checkered flag at the conclusion of race 1 of the final showdown. A victory for Ole Olsen coming through from the back, second Bruce Penhall. Friendly handshake between these 2 old rivals.
Bruce Penhall first got me here to ride with Ole at Coventry 10 years ago, and the idea was to ride with Ole in his farewell season. and they've both been such a great help to me. And like I say, I'm very honored that they could show up for me and honor me in this way at my race. So it means a lot, and it's going to be great for the fans to see them one last time, and for me, because I'm a great fan of both of theirs.
And here's some glimpses of today's testimonial man in his early years. Back home in California, his dad and his sister.
In Speedway this year.
That's right. I've seen Rick progress from the starting of this season, Ted, and I'll tell you, he's a darn professional rider, and he's very determined.
Now, you used to race bicycles and motocross. How come you switched to Speedway?
Well, my friend Lance King, who rode Speedway, let me try out his bike at the end of the year. I liked it so much, I went and bought one the next week and just started practicing, and now I'm racing full-time. I love it.
So back to today's action, and 3 Americans and 1 Dane competing in this race. Heat number 5, Greg Hancock, Jano Pedersen, Rick Miller, and Billy Hamill. Let's see what sort of start Miller makes here. He's in white. Well, pretty good start. Looks like second place, but he's round the outside of red and blue to take pole position again. Good first bends from Rick Miller. Back in second position, Greg Hancock, also from the USA. And in third position, looks like Billy Hamill. So it's an American 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Though Jano Pedersen might have something to say about that. Pedersen at the moment at the rear. But it's Rick Miller up front leading. And Rick together with a willing band of helpers. He's had so much to do in organising this event with all that hard work behind him. He seems completely relaxed out there on the track. He appears to be a man with a mission this afternoon. Miller leads from Greg Hancock in second place, and a great scrap there for third place between Pedersen and Hamill. No problems up front seemingly for this man. Rick Miller takes the checkered flag, the winner then of heat number 5. His second victory of the meeting. What a great start he's made. Second place Greg Hancock, and in third Jano Pedersen. So the rider around whom today's event is centred makes it 2 starts, 2 wins. We go to heat number 6, Kelvin Tatum in red, blue, Gary Havelock, white, Bobby Swartz, and in yellow, black, Hans Nielsen. So second rides coming along for these 4 riders. Tatum on the inside, Hans Nielsen on the outside. Tatum, of course, used to ride here for the Coventry Bees before his spell at Berwick. And he's now attached to Bradford. The early pace setter, in fact, Kelvin Tatum, but headed now by Hans Nielsen. Nielsen leads from Tatum back in second place. In third spot, it's Gary Havelock, the reigning British champion. Nielsen just 1 point in his first outing, but he's looking for 3 here. And Hans Nielsen, as well as the string of World Championship medals that he's collected, he's also helped Oxford to 3 Division 1 championships. Nielsen, a remarkable model of consistency over the years. Nielsen leads, Tatum still holding that second place. It's Nielsen taking the yellow flag, 1 lap remaining. Tatum losing it there on the final lap, going into the first turn, the pits bend, and whatever happened to Kelvin Tatum? Well, meanwhile, the race proceeds. The riders were on the final lap, so no doubt the referee will award that race. Hans Nielsen, the clear leader and the winner indeed of heat number 6, but poor old Kelvin Tatum. Well, let's have a look again and see if we can spot here what happens. It looks as if he's got machine problems there, almost as if the front forks of the bike collapsed. Tatum really with nowhere to go apart from straight out into the fence. So a sorry scene indeed as Kelvin is stretchered away from that unfortunate incident, and a sympathetic ripple of applause from the large crowd. Heat 7 we move on to. Tony Ricardson in red, it's Sam Ermolenko in blue, facing the tapes in white, Ronnie Corey, and off the outside berth, gate 4, Jimmy Nilsson. Away they go, good start from the rider in blue, Sudden Sam, away well. Ermolenko leads it, second spot. The rider in white, Ronnie Corey, making a bit of a challenge. Ermolenko holding his line well. And coming through. Jimmy Nilsson making a bid from the back, and he's gone right past the pair of them. Nilsson up to second place from nowhere. Good performance from the Swede. Won his first outing in fine style, and up to second place. Can he make a bid on first spot? Ermolenko still holding that position. Ermolenko leads. Second, Jimmy Nilsson. And back in third place is the Rocket, Ronnie Corey. Here's Ermolenko, the leader. Had a great season last year, reached the world final and led Wolverhampton to their first British League title. Number 15 on his back, leading comfortably and just checking on the gap that's behind him. Well, there it is. The rider's well spaced now. A comfortable win at the end for Sam Ermolenko from the USA, celebrating with a wheelie. Second place, Jimmy Nilsson. And finishing in third spot, another American there from Wolverhampton also. That's Ronnie Corey. But a win for Sam Ermolenko. 3 points for Sam, takes his tally to 5. Next one is Heat 8. Joe Screen, Tommy Knudsen, Martin Dugard and Bill Johnson. Way to go quickly at the start of Heat number 8. Good start from Tommy Knudsen in the blue helmet colour. Martin Dugard also away swiftly from gate 3. Good race up front between these two. Knudsen just leading, Dugard looking for the outside lunge. And Dugard just about has the mastery of Knudsen. Dugard through to first place. Tommy Knudsen pegged back to second, but maybe not for too long. Close and entertaining up front this race in Heat number 8. For this British final-sized crowd here at Brandon this afternoon. Enjoying some afternoon sunshine as well after all the damp of this morning. Martin Dugard leads it in white. Back in second, Tommy Knudsen. And third spot, not too far back either, is Joe Screen. Well, a bright young rider, this Martin Dugard, with so many speedway connections. But what a race here for second place is Joe Screen sliding through on the inside of Tommy Knudsen. Screen takes up second, but he's come just a little bit too late to mount a challenge, has he, on Martin Dugard? Well, I think the Oxford rider just held off the challenge there. Good finish to Heat number 8. Well, Martin Dugard, with so many connections in the sport, they say speedway's in the blood. It certainly is in this young man's case. So here we can have a look at the scores after 8 races. The riders have now had 2 starts apiece. Rick Miller leading the field with 6 points. Jimmy Nilsson and Sam Ermolenko both on 5. Hans Nielsen, Joe Screen, Gary Havelock and Martin Dugard all on 4 points apiece. We'll be back with more action here at Brandon straight after the break.
We serve.
So welcome back to Coventry Speedway, the Brandon Stadium, the scene of Rick Miller's testimonial meeting here this afternoon. Right now it's time for race 2 of the final showdown, a race between Ole Olsen and Bruce Penhall once again. Olsen the victor, the first time out. In white, Bruce Penhall, Ole Olsen in red. Special match race. And this Heat number 2. Here's Bruce Penhall, the Californian who swapped his speedway bikes for an acting career. His retirement announced as he clambered on the rostrum at the Los Angeles Coliseum as he claimed his second world title in 1982. It was indeed Penhall who first suggested that Rick Miller should cross the Atlantic and join up with Coventry. Miller took the advice. A lot of people say thanks for that. Away they go then in the second heat between this pairing who've claimed 5 world titles between them. And the early pace setter here is Bruce Penhall. Well, in the last race it was Penhall who led in the early stages, but the wily old campaigner Ole Olsen found a way through. Can he repeat the performance here? Bruce Penhall holding an outside line. A little bit of a wheelie there for the crowd. It's a pair that have had such a great affinity over the years with the speedway public. Pop star style adulation really back in the early 80s. In Olsen's case, in the 70s as well. Penhall leading, but only just. Olsen on the inside. They race to the checkered flag, and Penhall claims a victory, which squares it all at 1 race apiece. So we need another heat decider. So a few words there exchanged. We'll be having a further at-length chat, no doubt, in the pits about the old times. Meanwhile, Well, back to the action and heat number 9. Hans Nielsen in red, Per Jonsson in blue, white, Janno Pedersen and Tony Ricardson completes the quartet here, appearing in yellow-black. Hasn't had a happy afternoon so far, Tony Ricardson, the current world number 2. Sensational form at the start of this season, but a little bit out of touch here at Coventry this afternoon. Away they go, good start from the inside berth for Hans Nielsen, the early leader. Just showing up in second place, it's Per Jonsson. A fair scrap between Jonsson and Janno Pedersen. Pedersen, the reigning world champ. Per Jonsson claimed the title the previous season. Hans Nielsen leads it, but it's tight, especially for second place. And Janno Pedersen just through now into that position. Pedersen up to second. Can he mount a challenge on Hans Nielsen? Nielsen on the outside line. Pedersen looking for the inside lunge this time. Nielsen just about so far holding off the challenge. Nielsen certainly one of the sport's most consistent performers. Won his world titles in Poland, Holland and Germany. 3 times a world champ. Nielsen leads on the final lap. Second place, still it's Janno Pedersen with Per Jonsson back in third position. There's the checkered flag for the winner, Hans Nielsen. A victory for Hans in race 9. Takes his tally to 7 points this afternoon. Second place there, Janno Pedersen. And finishing in third spot, Per Jonsson. So the riders preparing here now for heat number 10. Martin Dugard in red, blue, Rick Miller, white, Sam Ermolenko, and in yellow, Bobby Schwartz. That's the points position between this foursome. So away they go, a good start from the rider, this time in white. It's Sam Ermolenko who leads. Miller rather has been left. He's up though to third place. Gated in fourth, quickly through to third. Made 2 previous good starts. Not away swiftly enough there, really, Rick Miller. Second place at the moment is Martin Dugard. But it's Ermolenko who leads. 5 points from his first 2 outings. Looking for his second victory, in fact, of the afternoon. Just a little check back there from the American, Ermolenko, who had such a horrific accident whilst long track racing a couple of years or so ago. He's bounced back well from that. Ermolenko leading from Martin Dugard in second. Third place there is Rick Miller. Ermolenko, Dugard getting up tight now as the race nears its conclusion. Miller unable to make any impact on the front 2. It's a victory for Sam Ermolenko at the checkered flag. Second, Martin Dugard. And back in third place, dropping his first points of the afternoon, Rick Miller takes his tally to 7 points, though. Should be a surefire qualifier for the semi-finals. Sam Ermolenko, the winner, overseas champion in 86 and 89. Third in the 85 Bradford World Final. Moving on to the next one, heat 11. Tommy Knudsen in red, Billy Hamill blue, white, Jimmy Nielsen, yellow, Paul Bentley coming in, the young Coventry rider for the injured Kelvin Tatum. We understand has gone off to hospital. So a good start for the rider here in white, leading Tommy Knudsen. It's Jimmy Nielsen out front, Knudsen and Billy Hamill in a tight race for second position. Jimmy Nielsen holds on to first. Second spot, just Tommy Knudsen. Third place, not far away, Billy Hamill. Looks for the inside line, the American. Hamill trying to cut back on the inside of Tommy Knudsen. But not Knudsen, who knows this Coventry track, of course, so well, holding on to his second position. But Jimmy Nielsen, after that good start, holding first spot. He's had a win and a second so far. Looking here for his second win of the meeting. Good world final appearance in Gothenburg last year as well, when he finished 5th. Jimmy Nielsen leads. Second still, it's Tommy Knudsen. And third, still can't find a way through, the American from Cradley Heath, Billy Hamill. So that's the front 3 in heat number 11. The riders here, remember, bidding for a place in the 2 semi-finals. It's the initial target, and then, of course, to get through to the grand final itself, which carries quite a bit of prize money here this afternoon. So a victory then for Jimmy Nielsen. Second win of the meeting, takes his tally to 8 points. On we go to the next race, heat number 12. Greg Hancock here in red, 2 points so far. 4 points apiece at this stage for Joe Screen and Gary Havelock, who ride in blue and white respectively. Ronnie Corey's just got the 1 point so far. He completes the cast list here. He's in yellow. So heat number 12. From the inside, Havelock, Hancock rather, Screen, Havelock and Corey. The referee flicks the switch. The referee this afternoon, incidentally, Mr. Stan Green. Away they go quickly. Good start for Gary Havelock in heat 12. Havelock away well. Good race developing for the minor placings, with Ronnie Corey now getting up to second place ahead of Greg Hancock. But up front, Havelock leading it. Familiar style of the reigning British champion. It's a title that he won here at Coventry last summer. Havelock here looking for his first win after a couple of second places. And Havelock, another rider here with Speedway blood very much in his veins. Father Brian rode for Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Newcastle and Workington. So Havelock rather following in the tyre treads of his dad, making a pretty successful job of it as well. Havelock leading comfortably now in heat 12. Back in second is Ronnie Corey. It's his best performance of the afternoon, in fact. Third place, Greg Hancock. And that is indeed how they finish heat number 12. They take the checkered flag. A victory then for Gary Havelock. And young Gary's, well, he's had his brush with the authorities in the past, but he's bounced back from all those problems. The most reliable member now of the current Bradford setup. And a young rider surely with a great future. So now, after 12 races, we can have a look at the leaderboard so far. Each of the riders has now had 3 starts apiece. Up front, Sam Ermolenko and Jimmy Nilsson leading the way with 8 points apiece. 3 riders on 7, Rick Miller, Hans Nielsen and Gary Havelock. And, well, they're scrapping for points for these 2 semi-finals. But right now, we go on to race 3 of this special match race series. Bruce Penhall versus Ole Olsen. 2 great legends who did so much between them to ensure a high profile for the sport back in the late 70s and early 80s. 2 really class acts who attracted the sort of adulation that's usually reserved for pop stars. Ole Olsen just giving, Bruce Penhall rather, just giving the tapes a nudge there. It's Penhall in white, Olsen this time in yellow. The referee Stan Green quite rightly being lenient, saying no penalty there, let's get on with it. The crowd have come along to see Rick Miller in his testimonial meeting. And many have come to see these 2 great performers as well. Olsen leading just from Penhall. It's tight between the pair of them. Olsen on the outside, Penhall up on the inside. Bruce Penhall, a world champion in successive years back in the early 80s. The all-American pin-up boy who made the entire Speedway world sit up and take notice. And the large crowd here really warming to these great Speedway entertainers and ambassadors. Olsen leads it, Penhall back in second place. It's close to the line, but Olsen takes the victory and he wins this 2-man special match race series. And just listen to the reception that this large crowd are giving the pair of them. Olsen then the winner. And the crowd really loving every minute of it. A final handshake. Both back out of retirement on this special occasion. And here on the centre screen is a message that really spells it out.
It's really good, you know. I mean, it's great to be with Ollie, riding with Ollie. I mean, there's nobody better that I would want to ride with on a day like today, other than someone like Rick. It's just it's a special day. It's a little tough for us because we're not in race fit shape, you know. I mean, we're only doing 3 laps too, and us old guys, man, we're breathing hard when we come back in the pits.
I know Rick is really honoured to have both of you guys there, and it must mean a lot for you to have come over from America today.
Yeah, it does, but I mean, that was nothing. I mean, the flight's nothing. It's really just trying to do something for Rick. I mean, he's been a special friend. I mean, not so much a racer friend either, because we really never rode together. But he's been such a good friend. Every time he comes home, or if I come over here, we're always talking, we're always having dinner. We're always just kind of palling around. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm really happy to see that there's a good crowd today, and the weather cleared up for us. I couldn't be happier, and I'm sure Rick couldn't either.
Great great to see Bruce Penhall taking time out from his acting career there, making another appearance here in Britain. On with the action, and race 13 with Ronnie Corey in red, Martin Dugard blue in white. Coming in for Kelvin Tatum is Andy Meredith, the young Stoke Potters rider. And here in yellow and black we've got Jan O. Pedersen. Points so far, Ronnie Corey on 3, Martin Dugard 6, and Jan O. Pedersen has collected 3 points. So let's see what sort of start they make as we get underway now with race 13. Corey, Dugard, Meredith and Pedersen, and away they go, and a good start here for the rider in red, Ronnie Corey. Jan O. Pedersen away swiftly off the outside berth as well, and keeping it all screwed on. Well, Pedersen right through the pack there to take up pole position. Good outside ride. Pedersen leads it now from Ronnie Corey, who's back in second, with Martin Dugard tucked in there in third place. So Jan O. Pedersen with just 3 points so far in this meeting. He'll be a little disappointed with his performance, I would imagine, but looking for a victory here in race 13. Stretching out a comfortable lead now for himself. Ronnie Corey way back in second position, and Martin Dugard in third place. So they take the flag, just 1 lap remaining. Jan O. Pedersen with number 1 on his back, and appropriately here, number 1 in this race, race the 13. It's the style of the reigning world champion. Pedersen wins it, takes his tally to 6 points. Second, Ronnie Corey. Third, Martin Dugard. So Jan O. Pedersen gained top place in the Gothenburg World Final last year with 15 points, and many supporters claim that that win was justice because Jan O. had been so unlucky with injuries prior to the 2 previous World Finals. On to the next slice of today's action. It's Heat 14 coming up next with Bobby Schwartz in red, Greg Hancock blue. Tommy Knudsen rides in white, and wearing yellow is Tony Rickardson. Well, he'll be keen to break his duck here, surely. Rickardson, no score so far, and that really is a surprise. So the tapes rise, away they go in Heat 14, and a good-looking start from Bobby Schwartz, and Tony Rickardson away well this time. Rickardson leading from Bobby Schwartz, who's back in second. Third spot in the blue helmet colour there, just about Greg Hancock. Good race for third place. But the early leader, Tony Rickardson, really started off this season like an express train, winning the first 2 individual events at Ipswich and Mildenhall last month. Surprisingly low-key here this afternoon in his first 3 outings, but making up a little bit of lost ground here in race 14. Rickardson, the world's number 2 from Sweden, leading now quite comfortably. Back in second place, just a glimpse of him there in red, Bobby Schwartz. A great help to Rick Miller. Bobby Schwartz in his early days here in England lived just a mile or so along the road from him. So that's the lead that Rickardson has built up as he takes the checkered flag, the winner of Heat 14. The victory for the world number 2. Second, Bobby Schwartz. Good performance from Bobby. Hasn't raced in this country for several seasons now, and he really must have got used to those smaller circuits back home. Third place there, another American, Greg Hancock. On to race 15 right now. Heats. A couple of heats just remaining before we go into the semis. Per Jonsson, Jimmy Nilsson, Gary Havelock and Rick Miller here, the lineup. See what sort of start Rick Miller makes from the outside berth. It looks like a good one. Racing around the boards there to take up first place. Relegating to second, Per Jonsson. What a great first corner from Rick Miller. Didn't gate too well, and he quickly made up for lost ground, didn't he? Miller leads, back in second place. Pushing hard is Per Jonsson. And in third spot, it's Jimmy Nilsson. Good race here in heat number 15. Miller, 7 points so far. And the charismatic American looking for his 3rd win of the afternoon. Such a popular figure here at Brandon, having helped the Coventry Bees to 2 British League Championship successes back in 87 and 88. Miller in yellow leading from Per Jonsson, who's back in the red helmet colour. 1 lap remaining. Back in third place is Jimmy Nilsson there. So Miller, Johnson and Nilsson, the front three. And my word, it's getting tight up front. Per Johnson making a last gasp bid, but Miller just holds off the challenge to take the checkered flag. Good racing in heat 15. Good win for the man of the moment, Rick Miller. Actually built his American reputation at Ventura. They used to call it the commotion by the ocean, as the circuit was situated right on the edge of the beach. He first started riding, in fact, when he borrowed a bike from his great friend Lance King, who had several seasons over here in the British League. Race 16, Billy Hamill rides in red. Blue, it's Hans Nielsen. In the white helmet colour, Joe Screen. And wearing yellow, Sam Ermolenko. The last of the qualifiers. Then we go into the semis. Sudden death after this. And a good start here for the rider in yellow and black, Sam Ermolenko, just ahead of his fellow American, Billy Hamill. Ermolenko in the yellow leading, in red, Hamill in second. Good race as well for third place, with Nielsen nipping through just ahead of Joe Screen. But up front, it's Sam Ermolenko now who's captured first place. Ermolenko ahead of Hamill. Nielsen back in third, having also found a way through. So Sam Ermolenko ahead of Billy Hamill, but only just. What a good race these two Americans are providing here in heat number 16. Billy Hamill now trying the outside. Ermolenko inside, Hamill on the outside. Hamill, in fact, won his first outing, then he's had a third, then a last. He'll be keen to win this one. It's Hamill in red. And the American hasn't finished yet. Ermolenko leading just. Hamill around the boards. It's a race to the line between the pair of them. And Hamill just about doing enough, I rather imagine, to get up and win heat number 16. What a race. Billy Hamill, in fact, just getting the verdict there. Won his first international honour a couple of years ago as a member of the USA World Team Cup squad. Let's have a look at this close finish again. And we can see there, Billy Hamill did just enough to win it. Good race. So that's the last of the round of the 16 races. From now on, it's sudden death as we go into the knockout stage of the contest. 2 semi-finals and a consolation final, and then the 5-rider grand final itself.
Tommy, you know what it's like, testimonial meeting. What goes through your mind on a day like this?
Well, the first thing I'm sure Rick did this morning was pray for sunny weather today, and he's been very lucky with the weather like I was 3 years ago. There's a massive big crowd here today, so I'm really pleased for him. He's done a lot of work here for the testimonial meeting, and he deserves a good day.
The nice thing about today is the riders here, it's as good as any world final. Superb lineup.
It's a very strong lineup, and I mean, looking at the program, it's all very tough heats, and there's been some good racing out there today.
I'd imagine it's going to get better as the prize money hots up for that final.
That is right. I just wish I was in it, but I've had a really bad day. But it's going to be very hard, the racing in the 2 semis and the final.
We serve up the Phillips.
So welcome back to the final stages of this Rick Miller testimonial meeting here at Coventry. We go into the first semi-final now with Rick Miller himself appearing in red. Joint top scorer in the event with 10 points. Jimmy Nilsson is in blue, he finished with 9. Billy Hamill on 7 is in white, and also on 7 points in yellow is Gary Havelock. Away they go quickly on the first semi-final, and a good start here for the rider in blue, Jimmy Nilsson. Miller up there as well. Miller leads it just from Nilsson. No, Nilsson squeezes through on the outside, and Gary Havelock making his presence felt as well. Great performance from the reigning British champion Havelock around the lot of them to take over first place. What a ride. Havelock now leads. Back in second place is Jimmy Nilsson, and Rick Miller at the moment has to settle for third position. Well, Rick Miller showing up well in the early stages, but what a great performance here from Gary Havelock, the young Bradford rider, hitting the front with a tremendous run around at the outside. He's opened up quite a gap too. Havelock leads. Good race and a close one for second place. Jimmy Nilsson just ahead of Rick Miller. But no favours certainly being provided here in this, the first semi-final. And if Miller misses out on a front 2 place, he'll have to look for a backdoor entry to the final itself. There's the checkered flag for the winner, Gary Havelock, and finishing in second spot, Jimmy Nilsson. So these two go through to the final. Rick Miller temporarily goes out of the picture. He'll have a chance again in the consolation race but he must win that to get into the final. So the second semi-final coming along now. Sam Ermolenko in red, blue it's Hans Nielsen, white Martin Dugard, and in yellow Per Jonsson. Sam Ermolenko 10 points, top of the leaderboard, equal with Miller after the 16 races. Nielsen finished with 8, Dugard 7, and Per Jonsson qualified with 6 points. Second semi-final, first two go straight through. Away they go, good start from Per Jonsson in yellow. World champion from a couple of seasons ago, making no mistakes at all, a dream start from the gate. Second, the rider in blue, it's Hans Nielsen, and in third spot in red, Sam Ermolenko. Second semi-final, really cut and thrust action. Jonsson leads. What a race here for second place. Nielsen holding that position at the moment, but Sam Ermolenko making a bid on the inside, and Ermolenko now goes through. Ermolenko takes up second place, the second qualifying place for the grand final, and a lot of money at stake there this afternoon. Jonsson leads, just gained 6 points from his 4 races, not too impressive, but he's obviously been saving himself for this semi-final, making no mistakes here at all. Jonsson leads with a checkered flag now in full view. Second coming through and gaining a grand final spot, Sam Ermolenko, and in third place there, coming through ahead of Nielsen, was Martin Dugard. So Ermolenko and Jonsson straight through to this afternoon's final. But some great racing produced there in that second semi-final. Let's go down to the pits now and hear from Jimmy Nielsen talking to Mike Bennett.
You must be happy to have got through to this final.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, you can go and collect loads of points in the qualifying rounds, and semi-final you can miss the gate and you're out. But lucky enough, I hang on to my second place, and I was pleased with that.
Track conditions today have changed throughout the afternoon. It was very wet to start things off, but it's got a bit slick now, as you say.
It's very, very deep to start with, and then it got to be slicker and slicker and slicker. But, you know, it's a Sunday afternoon, nothing you can expect from it, and it's been holding good and been some good racing as well.
What's the best gate position to go off, do you reckon?
I don't know, anyone as long as you make it.
Well, now we come to the real fun part of the afternoon, if you can call it that. It's called bungee jumping. Rick Miller has tried it before, and he reckons it's the most frightening and equally the most exhilarating thing that he's ever done. Well, he's trying it again here at Coventry on his big day this afternoon. As you can see, they go up in a crane to something like 200 feet above the ground, and they're then strapped into a harness which is attached by an elasticated cord, and when they feel brave enough, they jump, would you believe? Well, we all know the speedway riders, as you'd expect, are a fearless sort of breed, so it's not surprising there's been a few volunteers. Rick Miller, the first to try. And let's face it, it's a bit more adventurous than the bouncy castle at the back at the Garden Fete, isn't it? There he goes, to the great delight of the crowd. So what a day here for Rick Miller. Well, showing no fears at all. So Rick Miller coming down to terra firma again after that quite spectacular bungee jump.
Per, we thought we'd better chat to you before you go up and do this jump. Brave enough riding a speedway bike, but what about this?
Well, I mean, I always wanted to do it, but I mean, I'm afraid of heights, and I'm just gonna have to close my eyes when I'm going up and just jump. I mean, it's one of them crazy things that you don't want to do, but you still want to do them.
I think it's just that kind of day. Everybody wants to make it a bit special for Rick, and obviously you're joining in with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great day out there. I mean, everyone's having a good time, and the track is good, and it's a lot of people as well watching, so we're having a good time.
So there he goes, Per Jonsson, and for somebody who's afraid of heights, as he admits himself, well, you've got to regard that as being a pretty brave sort of act. So Per Jonsson back to earth, having said, by the look of it there, perhaps a little prayer on the way down. Well, the last opportunity to get into today's final. The last chance race it's called. Billy Hamel, Rick Miller, Martin Dugard and Hans Nielsen. That's how they line up and face the tapes. Hans Nielsen, the nearest to the camera, in yellow. Really all eyes on Rick Miller to see if he can get through. Rick Miller starting off the outside there in the red helmet colour, making a tremendous burst past Hans Nielsen. Nielsen really made the gate, but Miller with a great pass on lap 1. Miller leads. Nielsen now back in second place. Third spot, Billy Hamel. So, Miller, a little while ago, we thought he'd missed out on a final appearance. It looks as if he might get through in this last chance opportunity. But he hasn't beaten Hans Nielsen yet. Three-time world champion, still there buzzing around Miller's back wheel. Miller leading, actually got into Speedway via BMX and motocross racing. Won a gold medal as a member of the USA World Team Cup squad a couple of years ago. Just one world final appearance, that was at Bradford 2 seasons ago, meeting in which he beat the eventual champion, Per Jonsson. And he's stretching out a good enough lead here, surely in the last chance race, to hold off the challenge of Nielsen. Miller it is who goes through to make it a 5-rider final. Always regarded as one of the most pleasant and underrated riders in the sport, Miller gets into today's final as the winner of the last chance race. It may be a backdoor entry, but no one in this large crowd here today will deny him the right to be there. And so we come to the final itself. Gary Havelock, Jimmy Nilsson, Per Jonsson, Sam Ermolenko and Rick Miller riding in the green and white striped helmet colour this time. That's the lineup. Can the reigning USA champion hold his nerve and gain the perfect conclusion to what has been a memorable event? All eyes on Miller off gate 2. Really, he's got stiff competition here. But Miller, the first away from the gate. Miller leads from, in red, Gary Havelock back there in second place. Coming through, in third is Sam Ermolenko, just ahead of Per Jonsson. What a great race in today's final. Really has been a spectacular afternoon's action. And this really would cap it all, wouldn't it? If Miller can hold on for a win in the grand final itself, really will make it a great occasion and a great payday for him. Miller continuing to lead, and this large crowd here at Brandon willing him on to victory. Miller leading from Gary Havelock back in second place, third spot Sam Ermolenko. That's how it is at the moment. 1 lap remaining. Rick Miller just yards now away from crowning a memorable day. Miller leading, back in second, Gary Havelock. He shrugged off the challenge of the young Englishman. Miller leads it to the checkered flag and wins his own testimonial. So the crowning glory for Rick Miller, the perfect end to a perfect day, a highly entertaining and competitive event, climaxed by a win for the testimonial man himself. And who can deny Rick Miller his success here this afternoon? He deserves to be rewarded, not just for his 10 years service to Speedway, but also for the way he's gone about organising and promoting his own testimonial. It's certainly been a day that Rick Miller will always remember.
I just can't believe it. Tommy Knudsen had a great testimonial a few years ago, and I think he got second or third. And I thought, that's great at your own testimonial to do that good. And here, I've gone and won it, and I just can't believe it's happened in such a tough field. I mean, this field is, I think, a who's who in Speedway. And it was real nice. We all got along great in the pits today, and you know, what a fantastic day.